A massive thank you to Robert, Bernard, Heaven, Ralph and Paolo for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with episode 2 of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Yes, of course, if you missed out on the video that went live earlier on today, of course we jumped in to the all new F1 22 game. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you guys that have watched that video as well. But yeah, first race of the year, it's an hour long episode. You know, we set up the team, everything like that. Of course, we picked our second driver, we've picked our engine, all that good stuff. So yeah, we definitely recommend going back and checking that one out before we jump in to this evening's video as well there. But yeah, of course, if you're not already as well, make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel for daily F1 22 content as well. Of course, trying to hit 60k at the moment, and the big goal now by the end of the year, 100,000 subscribers. But yeah, of course, F1 22, just like F1 2021, you know, behind the scenes, we're still working on a lot of things as well there. So you can see currently, I think we've got 3 upgrades in progress as we head into the Saudi Arabian GP weekend there. You can see we've got minor upgrades on 3 of the 4 departments. I'm going to have a look, see if there's any more chassis upgrades we can do as well there. Yes, we can. So we'll get the rear floor under tray done, ready for the Australian Grand Prix next time round there. So yeah, trying to apply the upgrades nice and early on in the year. These should lift us above McLaren early on in the game cycle, but as we learnt last time out in Bahrain, we are definitely not quite as high up the grid as we thought we were. It didn't go perfectly the first race of the year, but you know, we made it to the end. Both cars saw the checkered flag, which is often the most important thing. But before we get into this weekend though, looks like we've got a Pirelli Hotlap ahead of us. So I think, for the first time ever on an F1 game, we're going to be driving some supercars. Let's get into it then here for the Jeddah weekend. Right, so here we are then in Saudi Arabia for an average spin zone challenge in at the McLaren 720S there. If we can keep up 100 miles an hour, we'll win $100,000 for the team. So fingers crossed. We'll wait and see as to how this goes. Like I said, first time driving any of the supercars on F1 22. So this is going to be an interesting challenge here, as we've got to try and head through the very, very fast turn 12. And I've tried to use the F1 braking point. And that's immediately going to be a disqualification there. That's not quite, I think, what Codemasters had in mind. We'll try it again. Must admit, the car does sound very, very good, but I'm going to try braking it about the 100-meter board this time round as we head into the corner. A lot of tyre squeal there as back end tries to fight us on the way out as well, but out of turn 12. Got to try and keep the foot in. Oh, a lot of understeer. We graze the wall. But we do get 98 miles an hour that time round, so we're getting close. That was only the bronze medal, but can we try and get gold in our final run? Right, final attempt then here in Jeddah. I've now hopefully tweaked the steering rack slightly, so hopefully it's going to give us a lot more of an accurate feel down in towards the corner there. It's all very, very wide that time round, but fingers crossed we can maintain the momentum. Oh, on the exit of the corner there. Back end still trying to break free, as we're going to try and hang a bit closer to the inside. It's a big drift, but we do reach 99 miles an hour there. Big save from the AI, but it's only the silver medal in our first hot lap challenge there, so a little bit gutted with that one, but I think that's still 50,000 credits, or $50,000 even, I should say, for the team. I'm going to give that one more go. I want to try and get that 100. Oh, a little bit of a lock up there as we head into the corner. You can just feel as you go over that bump. You know, very impressed actually with how sort of natural these cars feel on F1 22. I was a bit worried it was just going to be a bit of a fad that was butchered. Was that the goal? We were very close. 100.5, come on. This is actually a fairly good challenge. I'm enjoying this. One more to go then. This will be it, whether we get it or not now, I think. We'll wait and see what we can do as we head down into turn 12. They're trying to break it about the 100 board. They're trying to avoid locking up over the undulation, but again, we just clip it there. I think, to be honest, the key is to try and get a nice tidy run towards the inside on the corner exit. There's big four-wheel drift there. So we head out of the turn 100. That was incredibly close. Yes, it's gold. I don't know how close we managed it. We must have only just scraped it there. I saw 100.7. Show me that gold. Oh, 100. We hit it bang on. 100.76 miles an hour. Nailed it. Nailed it by 0.01 mph there when all is said and done. But there we go then. That's $100,000 to the team as well. Let's get into practice then here from Bahrain. Right, well here we are then, ready actually now in a car that I'm a bit more used to on F1 22, or car I should hopefully be a little bit better in. Looks like Aston Martin as well have brought upgrades this weekend, so we have now dipped to only above Williams in terms of theoretical pace. Again though, Williams had a pretty solid race in Bahrain, and I'm a little bit worried, a track like this, with a car that was struggling that much down the straights in Bahrain, we could be in for a long weekend here from Jeddah. But, that's what the early game is all about on the F1 games as well there. It's just trying to navigate our way through the S's in free practice. Yeah, it feels very, very weird to be racing at Jeddah so early on in a campaign. This is a track that you want to have a lot of confidence in, and normally you get a lot of confidence by sort of spending a lot of the season in a Formula 1 car. But that's the way it goes sometimes. It's a tough challenge. And we'll wait and see what we can do this weekend. Of course, Jump Panic first of all for the track acclimatization program. So far going pretty well. Of course, this track should remain unchanged since last year's game, because of course nothing really got tweaked to it. A couple of barriers were moved around and things like that. And of course the new DRS zone. I much prefer this one as you head into one of my favourite but hardest corners on the F1 calendar. Trying to breaking in point through there is very, very difficult as we just skim the front wing. Luckily get away without much damage, and we'll see if we can get back round and still get a good score. A couple of green scores as we head out of the final corner there, but activate the DRS back up towards the start-finish line. Don't think it's quite going to be purple. No, we just miss out there in the end, but let's get into another program. Well, let's get into the tyre wear program then, here from Jeddah, all over the back of George Russell as we head out the final corner. Fingers crossed, as long as we keep it tidy through the S's, we should try and have pretty good tyre life here. I mean, it was actually a lot better than I thought it would be in Sakir. It's a well-rounded little car. It's just got no top-end speed, it feels like, early on. And, of course, the other thing is we got to get the Delta, which was a much bigger challenge in some of the programmes last weekend. It's got to get close to the walls in Formula 1's fastest street track, but that was a little bit close for comfort. And through this higher speed stuff, you can really feel the ground effect working on these 22 cars, but loving it so far as we try and hang close to George Russell in towards the final corner of our tyre wear run. I don't think it's going to be purple unless we get a really nice run out of here. So Russell, big lock up there. He turns in on me. Contact with the Mercedes in free practice. Not sure what that was all about from George Russell, but up towards the line. First lap is only going to be the green score. Can we try and improve for purple? Heading down in towards the final corner then of my second attempt. This one should be the purple score as George Russell still sat all over my gearbox. Just got to make sure we get the nice run at the final corner. Activate the DRS, and that's going to be a full purple score. That's what we need in practice. All those R&D points coming in. Right, on to our final practice program there, here with the race simulation run. Seems, yeah, that aero is massively important on F1 22. What wing angles you're running can have a big effect on a car. But yeah, now we just got to try and get 3, or hopefully only 3 nice, quick, tidy laps in. ERS management as well, though, I'm very worried about this weekend, because there are not many places to save battery around here, but there aren't many places to just run a bit wide like that. Most of them, though, will punish you a lot more than that did. Well, so far in this final program then, just trying to work out how little battery we can use on each lap there. I don't think we've even used it this time around, and we're still able to get 4 tenths up. One more lap then. Let's try and get this purple score. As, yeah, really difficult now actually to spot the braking point down at turn 1, where we've lost that curb in towards the first corner there, as we just graze the barrier on the exit, similar to Max Verstappen's qualifying in 2021. Yeah, I feel like we're hanging on though through the S's at the moment, but then again, that's probably because I'm trying to compare this thing to last year's car, and of course last year's car was completely maxed out, and it was stupidly fast. And in the final corner then, must admit, trying to spot your turning point through that final turn. When you get it nailed, is super satisfying there. As up towards start-finish line. Should be a few more R&D points in the pocket. We can't do any upgrades at the moment because we've already got all the departments working at capacity. But let's get into qualifying then here in Jeddah. Can we repeat what we did in Bahrain and make it into Q2? Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Safe to say, you got to give them credit. Jeddah is very, very picturesque. Once more on F1 22, let's wait and see then what sort of times we can do in qualifying. We don't want any mistakes this time round, like in Bahrain there, because I mean that did potentially cost us trying to get a nice, decent run in at Q2. So I want to try and immediately get a good banker on the board as they slam on the anchors at the 100-meter board. There, attack the curbs through turn 1 and turn 2. Fourth gear on the exit. Slowly getting used to how the traction works on the new game. Of course, very, very different to F1 2021. Obviously, you've just got no grip, low speed. There's so much of it provided by the ground effect. And of course, ground effect doesn't really work when there's no air going under the car. And of course, there's no air going under the car at low speed. But we'll wait and see. There's first sector, nice and tidy. Purple as well, so love to see that. Just trying to tip the car in through the banking. Of course, had plenty of practice through here, thanks to our supercar experience. As we head through the next couple of corners, though, Mick Schumacher, 32.6 there as well. Just try and tip it in. Car likes to break free through that turn. Max Verstappen 130.1. So decent lap by the Red Bull man. Of course, he wants to try and get a race victory on the board nice and early on in the year after Charles Leclerc won the first race out in Bahrain. And Sergio Perez, of course, took pole here in real life a couple of months back. He is now fastest and down into the 129s there, so good job for them by Checo. But what are we going to be able to do then as we head in towards the final corner? AI don't tend to go particularly quickly on their first runs and then seem to improve as the session goes on. Activate the DRS as we head up towards the line there, and over the line we go. It's a 30.9, so only a second away from the Red Bulls there. Pretty happy with that. And of course quicker than Mick Schumacher, and he scored points in the first race of the year. 8 minutes left on the clock then as we head out for our second run here in Q1. Fingers crossed we can just try and improve a little bit, because both myself and Drugovich currently in the drop zone. This time round though, we are quicker than our teammate by about 1/10 of a second at the end of the first runs. And now of course we've got a decent benchmark. We can really just try and push to explore the limits of grip and adhesion here as we head back through the first couple of corners there. Again, get right up towards the wall on the exit turn 1. Tip it in to the chicane there. Really odd the fact that first part of the curb is so aggressive, and of course the second part is completely flat. It is just painted on to the road there, as you can just see. Well, that was a lot of curb on the exit. A little bit cheeky there, but we get away with it this time round. Obviously you've got to be careful with curb usage on F1 22 as tipping it back in through turn 12. Going to try and leave it in 4th gear and then short shift back into 5th on the exit here. We are finding a little bit more time then as we head around our second run. This corner I definitely made a big mistake on the first lap. We hug the car over the curves, get right up towards the wall though on the exit, and that is going to cost us a tiny bit of momentum as we head down this back section of the circuit in towards, like I said, one of my favourite corners of the lap. 5th gear, stick it in and pray as you head through there. Is now half second up as we head out into the final sector of the lap. This has turned out to be a pretty decent lap at the moment. We should go quicker than Zhou Guanyu as long as we don't mess up the final corner. Tip it in nice and tidy there. Get the car slowed down. 3rd gear and then 4th on the exit as you try and ride the throttle. And track definitely getting quicker at the moment. Then 7/10 up as we do shortest run to the line. P8! Yes, please. I'll have that. Thank you very much. And there we go then. The end of Q1. We sneak by 1,000th of a second there over Lance Stroll. Drugovich unfortunately out there just ahead of both Williams cars, both Astons, and Pierre Gasly once again out in Q1, but we squeezed by, and this time around we've got a fresh set of tyres still to use in Q2 here. Can we try and better our P16 from last weekend? Let's get into second qualifying. We're going to go out for our first run then in Q2 on the old set of tyres, just so we can sort of get a good benchmark in and then hopefully have a good time to chase. But yeah, definitely feel like we could try and get close to a sub 130 there. I mean, the Ferraris were down in the 28s at the end of qualifying. Not the best run through turn 1. But again, this lap isn't the important one. It's the second run we're going to do, where we've really got to try and chase the time there as well, tipping it in over that curb. That's the line you want through there. Fingers crossed we can do that again. Just graze the wall as we head out onto the back straight. These cars aren't feeling bad, you know, at the moment. They're about half a second slower, according to the team, but of course most of that time should be lost in the first sector there as we've surely just grazed the front wing. That curb is lethal on F122. That one is fine, but now it's the curb beforehand that is a lot more lethal, and that's the one you really want to try and lean on around this lap. But down towards the final corner once again. Then Bottas currently around. Oh, a big lock up there. That's not going to finish off the lap in any particular style. As again, we just rattle up against the wall on the exit. 7 minutes left on the clock though. And that's only going to be a 31-1. So not bad. Still quicker than Magnussen and Ricciardo, but a long way off where I wanted. Now, we get one more run. Let's get it. A minute left on the clock as everyone out for their final runs here in Q2. We need to try and get an absolute worldie of a lap in to try and bolster ourselves up the order. You know, Alfa Romeo could definitely be a team we could try and oust here in Q2. I don't think we're going to make it into the top 10 unless we get an absolute rocket ship of a lap. Breaking down into turn 1 at the 100-metre board. There, attack the curbs on the inside through the entry. And the exit once more. Fourth gear on the exit is 4 tenths up already at the first turn there. Love to see that. Nice and easy as we head into the S's, though. Again, don't want to do anything stupid now and throw away the time there. It's really trying to attack the curbs as best as possible there. You dance between the barriers here at Jeddah. Horrible run, though, on the exit of the S's there, and that's going to throw away about a tenth of a second there. But purple through the first sector. How on earth have we managed that? Clearly we're running a lot more aero than a lot of the other cars around us there. As no! Oh no, it all just unfolded as we went to put the power down. All that practice in the McLaren, and it all just goes pear-shaped right at the end of qualifying there. That could have been a really, really good lap, but putting it all on the line. Luckily, we get away without much damage on the car either there, but that is heartbreaking. Purple through Sector 1, all the heroics, and it all goes to waste. And there we go then, having a look at final results from Q2. I'll be honest, we might not have been far away from making it into Q3 there had we nailed that final lap. We were only, what, half a second away from Yuki Tsunoda, and when you think we were half a second up in Sector 1, that could have been the difference there. But P14 on the grid, here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Fingers crossed we can get a better start than we did last time. Let's get into it then here in Jeddah. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super, super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the Lower Hijaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula 1 calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Perez, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, and Yuki Tsunoda, Norris, Bottas, Guan Yu Zhou, Mr. Monaco, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Lance Stroll, and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Drugovich, Albon, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Right, but here we are then on the grid, ready for round 2 of the year here from the Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit. 25 laps ahead of us around a high-speed, action-packed venue. And the team, once again recommending the medium to hard compound tyres here. Luckily, like I said in the last video, I tweaked it around now, so we're going to have the immersive broadcast mode safety car, and of course formation laps as well. So really, really excited to jump into that one. I upped the front wing level slightly for qualifying, and I think I'm going to keep it like that early on in the race. We just need that little bit more bite through the S's in the first half of the lap then. But yeah, ready on the grid here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Of course, now we've got the formation lap back in, so I will see you as we try to line up back on the grid. Looks like Ferrari got the job then done on Saturday. Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz locking out the front row ahead of both Red Bulls and both Mercedes. Then, of course, behind them, things get a little bit interesting here. But yeah, very much looking forward to head back here to the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. As we round the final corner, then, of course, everyone going to start concertinaing up. Maybe now doing formation laps, so I mean I can get some better starts on F1 22, but I'm not going to hold my breath as we head down in towards the final corner here. Not really too sure which way I want to angle the car, if at all, to be honest. I think we might just try and head slightly over towards the racing line there. But getting ready then, here, round 2 of the year from Jeddah, and oh, I'm way behind our grid slot. Oh, that's not good. Waiting for the rest of the cars to line up, though, on the grid. Round 2 of the year, though, from the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. Starting P14. Fingers crossed we don't end up at the back by turn 1. 5 red lights. And it is lights out. Oh, and away we go there. And again, a bit overzealous on the loud pedal as we head down towards turn 1. Not as bad a start as we did last time round, so I'm very careful. Someone's up my inside. That's Daniel Ricciardo, who makes contact with Zhou Guanyu down at the first turn there. And suddenly, we go up the middle of all 3 of them. Straight up then into P13 then of the race. So a much better start than we managed in Bahrain there. As Zhou Guanyu trying to hang on around the outside through this first sector. But yeah, making progress then off the start of the race here. As you can just see El Plan, Fernando Alonso a little way up the road. But looks like Ferrari have hung on off the start there. 1-2 still ahead of both Red Bulls. One of the Mercedes has gone back there. Zhou Guanyu trying to muscle his way to the outside. Ricciardo again, though, trying to make another move work. 3 wide into turn 12 is never going to happen there, but Ricciardo's pulled it off. Lando Norris up the road, getting very, very loose and lively as we head out of that corner. Perhaps it should have been him practicing in the McLaren, but don't really think I can joke about that after qualifying. There is big, big snap of oversteer as we head out onto the back straightaway. That's going to really compromise our run as we head in towards the second half of the lap there, and still struggling by the looks of it a little bit on top speed. Mark, yeah, not amazed by our first lap there, but yeah, a little bit gutted that we made that mistake, because that's meant Ricciardo and Bottas a long way up the road already there. As here comes Zhou Guanyu. It just doesn't seem like we've got early race pace in the car once more. We're going to try and hang the nose up the inside there, force the Chinese driver to back out of the position there, side by side. Not going to happen out of the final corner on lap 1 as Charles Leclerc leads the way ahead of Sainz, both Red Bulls, and I think it's still Hamilton who hangs on to 5th. As DRS about to get enabled, of course, on the start of lap 3. We have got the gap back under the 1 second zone to the Australian in front of us here as we head through the final part of Sector 2. Really trying to just balance our battery usage, though, early on. We cannot afford to end up with sort of half a charge of battery by sort of lap 4 of this race. Otherwise, we're going to be in for a world of hurt long into the afternoon there. But want to try and get closer to the Australian. Charles Leclerc leads still at the end of lap 2. He's just trying to build up a gap there and maybe get win number 2 of the season on the board. Oh, come on! Oh, no! We've had another DRS failure, so I've just spent the last couple of laps trying to get close to Ricciardo, as we have one in practice in Bahrain. Now we've got one early on in the race here in Saudi Arabia. This car must have been made of paper mache, it feels like, or at least the rear wing is. Just looking on the mini-map as we head out the final corner, about to start lap 5. Charles Leclerc has absolutely just rocketed away at the start of this GP there, but looks like Ricciardo out now of the DRS range of Valtteri Bottas in front of him. So we now might be able to try and apply a bit more pressure to the Australian. Of course, we got no DRS either, as Zhou Guanyu and Pierre Gasly constantly seem to be side by side behind me. So that is not the line in through the S's. So yeah, we're kind of just all forming into little battle packs at the moment. But luckily for myself and Daniel Ricciardo, that is not the line through there either. We're just kind of focusing on our own race early on, as I think there's some battles going on up the road, which are allowing us to get a bit closer. And of course, these battles extend well into the points. The early laps here very quickly ticking by in Jeddah, but now both myself and Ricciardo nestled within the 1 second zone of all the cars in front. I'm still waiting for our DRS though to come back online. I mean, in Bahrain they got it fixed inside a couple of laps here. It's going to take a little bit longer, must do, in race trim, but fingers crossed they can get it sorted, because I want to attack. You know, points could be a possibility today. Whoa! Oh, we got Yuki Tsunoda and Fernando Alonso going side by side just up in front there, and we almost, as everyone concertinaed up behind them, went right into the back of Daniel Ricciardo. We almost did that in Bahrain as well when there were other cars battling in front of the Australian. There is, look at that, Mick Schumacher now getting jumped by Daniel Ricciardo's teammate. Both McLarens wanted to try and make moves work there, as one of them gets past the Haas, the other one looks past the Alfa Romeo, and now unfortunately for us that means Pierre Gasly and Zhou Guanyu all over the back of us as well there, and of course still without the DRS. I want to try and go forward in this race, and we might be about to go backwards. No, there we go. DRS re-enabled now in this Jeddah, so Saudi Arabian Grand Prix even I should say. Going to mean we've got a little bit more speed at the end of the straights, and fingers crossed now we might be able to start making some moves here. It's going to try and use a bit of battery out in towards the final corner of the lap then. Look at that now, gaining on Daniel Ricciardo. Is the Australian going to go defensive? No, he's not, so we're going to slide up the inside there. First real chance we get in this Grand Prix. And we slip past Daniel Ricciardo there, up at a P13. This weekend, Bahrain, the whole story was the lack of straight line speed. This time around, we got loads of it. That's all over the back of Bottas into turn 1. Oh, the fin gives me a big old squeeze there. Ricciardo tries to have a look for it through the corner, but we slam the door shut there as well. As everyone trying to get their elbows out early on. There's points available for so many cars, because of course the midfield in 2022 is just so close. It's brilliant. Well, Taylor's definitely starting to give up the ghosts. I don't know if we're going to end of lap 10 or end of lap 11 here, but Bottas, Schumacher still just in front of us. Both Ferrari-powered cars trying to battle it out. Okay, team saying there's no issues with the tyres, but I'm definitely starting to feel like they're giving up grip, as that's not going to help us out down at the final corner there. It actually gives us quite a tidy run off the corner accidentally. So we've not done as badly there as I thought we would, as Alfa Romeo seem to be struggling a little bit at the moment. Bottas struggling a bit with top-end speed, as we've still just got George Russell up the road there, Alonso, Norris, Schumacher, Bottas and myself there, and I mean, I think, yeah, Yuki Tsunoda, like I said, leading this train. So there's, what, 6 cars, 7 cars? All from different teams. All this close. That's just how good and how mixed up the F1 2022 grid and obviously car performance is. I love it. And it's obviously, as well, giving us a good chance. Oh, Schumacher and Tsunoda there. Running very, very wide down at the final corner. Schumacher really cuts in front of me on the exit there, and that's going to throw away a little bit of time for us and just pushes a bit back. Pierre Gasly might have just momentarily been in the DRS. But we are now going to box at the end of this lap then. Not a fan of that from Mick Schumacher, but I'm sure we've done it to the AI before. And luckily, no harm, no foul. Well, Mick Schumacher might now be at the DRS range of Valtteri Bottas in front of him. If we can get a tidy run out of this corner, which I don't think we have. Is Mick going to still be in range? No, he's not. So now, might be able to get a good run on the Haas cars. I wonder if he's going to pit at the end of this lap as well. They're gaining, but not quite enough. Down in towards the final corner. So we're going to try and get a nice tidy run out of the final turn there. Big kick of oversteer. So we head out the final turn. But Mick Schumacher's going to stay out another lap then. So Bottas and myself into the pits as we make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidily. But now there's the option to try and go for a bit of an undercut here. But of course we already know on F122 the tyres do take a little while to try and fire up. As there we go, optimal pit stop. Hopefully no mistakes this time around by the team. Oh no! 5-second pit stop is not what we needed. As the first proper pit lane issue there. Oh, don't understeer out into the pit lane. Don't do a Yuki Tsunoda like he did in Canada. But now we've got no heat in these tyres. I'm frustrated from the pit stop mistake as well. That might cost us a good chance of points this weekend. But we've got to keep our head down. Put some heat in this rubber and get on with it. There we go. Our teammate Felipe Drugovich into the pits. He's had a very quiet afternoon so far. Fingers crossed we're still going to be quite high up the order there, as here goes Mick Schumacher. He's going to be a long way ahead of us there, about 3 seconds the gap between myself and Mick. So that's a little bit heartbreaking there. I think K-Mag's got to pit again though before the end. So we're still running in a net P13, unlucky for some. But like I said, let's just keep pushing, see if we can try and get back to this group. If they start battling again, we can definitely close up some time. So there we go. Kevin Magnussen into the pits once more at the end of lap 13 there. So we are going to be back up then into P13 of the Grand Prix. And we have still got that big gaggle of cars up the road. Drugovich not having a fun afternoon of it as we're getting a bit more used to the car. Drugovich still seemingly struggling. It's now back into the DRS then of Mick Schumacher. I think the Haas man's struggling a little bit. Now he's out of that gaggle of cars to really sort of find his rhythm once more after the pit stops. And now hopefully he's going to be a bit vulnerable as we head back down towards turn 1 there. We're not really taking time out of Tsunoda and that group of cars in front. But are we going to get close enough to the Haas by the time we get to turn 1? Not quite this time round, but surely it's a matter of when, not if at the moment. With the DRS once more then on Mick Schumacher. Looks like Tsunoda and Norris up the road are starting to battle it out a bit more for the final points paying position. So how could this help the Haas and myself try and maybe open up an opportunity late on in the day here? Fingers crossed now we're going to be able to sail past Mick as we head down in towards the final corner. Gaining. The Haas goes very defensive there and just moves over into the braking zone as, oh, Mick Schumacher really struggling. We struggle to put the power down behind him. Luckily just gather it all up again as we head back down towards turn 1 here to the outside of the Haas car, side by side in towards the braking zone. Who's going to be the braver person is pretty much even as we head down through turn 1. Then we've got the inside for turn 2. We should just be able to put the power down. And now up into P12 then of the Grand Prix, and only 2 seconds away from the points. This is not over just yet. We have to just keep pounding out the laps. You know, these hard tyres are gripping up pretty nicely at the moment, much better than they ever would on F1 2021. So we just got to keep our head down and really focus. Mick Schumacher, though, not done with this battle just yet there, as the Haas man might be able to fly back around me down towards turn 1 there. Lando Norris trying the same move on Tsunoda. We're not really going to battle it at the moment. I don't want to lose time squabbling with Mick there. As there you go, you can see Tsunoda and Norris side by side through turn 1 again. And that means both of us take a good 3/4 of a second at Lando, and that's what we need to do. Work with Mick Schumacher. He wants his second points finish of the year. I'm after my first. So again, they're all over the back of Mick as we head in towards the final sector. Just over 7 laps to go then here in Jeddah. And at the moment, yeah, we've still got to be really careful that we don't cost each other too much time, as it looks like the Haas car really trying to use battery down towards the final corner. And it looks like Mick, oh, he does want to fight this. Why? Come on, work together, man. We can get the move done. And we can get up towards that McLaren and the AlphaTauri there. But Mick Schumacher, I'm not sure. He just doesn't seem to see the bigger picture. But Icon at the moment there is clean around the outside, back down towards turn 1. But Mick goes for it again. In towards the final turn there, and we're just throwing away time. to the cars in front. I've got to try and gap him, I think. Mick Schumacher wants to fight for this, and I want points. Right, there we go then, lap 19. We've just got Mick Schumacher out of the DRS range now. So fingers crossed, unless we do something stupid, we won't have to worry about him until the checkered flag there. But now we've got a difficult challenge, trying to get within the 1 second of Lando Norris up the road. 6 to go here. It is all still to play for. But yellow flag's out, someone behind us going slowly. I think that's Daniel Ricciardo. Either him or our teammate Felipe Drugovich might be falling to the wayside here, and it is Daniel Ricciardo.
They're retiring from the race.
Whether for better or for worse, we've got no safety car because of that. I don't think that's going to change things too much. Oh, Tsunoda, big lock-up down in turn 1 there, and that might just give us that little bit extra that we need at the moment there. Tsunoda and Norris not quite side by side on the exit of the corner there, but 5 to go. And now the gap floating at about the 1 second range. I think Tsunoda's a little bit riled up after making that mistake there. We're still trying to make sure we got enough battery to go for a late charge if we need to. But Tsunoda, he thinks about it on Norris. Back into turn 1. We need to see fireworks between these two. Two of F1's youngest drivers in Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda. In fact, let's say in a hypothetical world I was in F1, I'm actually born between them. But yeah, at the moment though, just trying to stick close to the pair of them and try and get within the 1 second mark. But Tsunoda is pushing. Tsunoda again though, going on the offensive on Lando Norris as we head back down towards turn 1. 3 laps to go now of the Grand Prix, and Tsunoda sticks it around the outside through turn 1. Can he get the car on the throttle on the exit there? No, he can't. Lando Norris. Oh no, there we go. Look at that, Tsunoda. Still finding momentum down in towards the next corner, and this is an open invitation for myself to get nestled right within that 1 second zone. And suddenly Yuki Tsunoda and Lando Norris have got another car to worry about late on in the day. This is going to be a 3-way scrap for the final points paying position here in Jeddah. 2.5 laps to go now. Can we somehow sneak past both of these cars and steal points from right under their nose? Lando Norris definitely seems to have a bit more top-end speed than the AlphaTauri in front of him there. As to the outside he goes. That AlphaTauri might not be in front of him for all much longer there, as you can just see how much Tsunoda's pushing side by side out of the final corner there. And I think it will be Lando who's got the DRS once more there, so he should be able to hang on as 2 laps to go here from Jeddah. We're closing up to the back of Yuki. Well, I'm just trying to work out the best way for us to navigate this. Do we sit back, let them battle, and try and pick them both off in one go? Or do we just try and get in the middle and then hope, obviously, Lando with no DRS can't defend himself here? You can just see Tsunoda. He's been super aggressive throughout a lot of this Grand Prix there, especially after the mistake. I think he's sort of racing on aggression at the moment as we head through the middle sector there, all over the back of the AlphaTauri car. Charles Leclerc, new fastest lap, as he has absolutely dominated this race here from Jeddah here. He's about to make it 2 from 2 at the start of the year. There was a little bit of a mistake through turn 12 there, just got way too far on the inside. And look at that, Lando Norris just starting to walk away from myself and Yuki Tsunoda as we start to gear up ready for the final lap here from Jeddah. Of course, Yuki's now going to have the DRS though on Lando Norris. I'm going to have the DRS on Yuki Tsunoda, still trying to manage the battery as we head towards this final lap here. But Lando Norris definitely has got a lot of good pace still in that McLaren. Over the curbs we go there. Be really, really careful on the loud pedal on the exits. Now we're going to try and just get that bit closer to Yuki as we head down in towards the final corner. Is he going to be close enough to Lando Norris to look for a move starting the final lap of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here? We don't know how often points opportunities are going to arise early on in the year there, as Tsunoda not as quick as I'm sure he would have wanted at that final corner there, but he's still closing in on Lando Norris side by side back down towards turn 1 there between the AlphaTauri and the McLaren. There's a lot of contact as Yuki Tsunoda tries to make the move work. We're just nowhere to go, stuck behind him at the moment there. Tsunoda still around the outside of Lando Norris there. Who's going to come out on top in this situation? They're still side by side. What a start to the final lap here in Jeddah. Lando Norris hangs on for now though and will stay in P10, but I need to try and make a move work sooner rather than later there. Charles Leclerc, fastest lap, he wins here in Jeddah, the second race of the year there. But who is going to finish P10? Will it be Lando Norris? Will it be Yuki Tsunoda? Will it be myself? Mick Schumacher has now joined the party as well there, as we are absolutely on the edge with these tyres there. They are certainly worn out late on in the day, but I think our best shot is going to be try and get a good slingshot out of the fast chicane there, and maybe look for a move in towards the final corners, as there goes Yuki Tsunoda once more on Lando Norris there. They're side by side as we head down this back section of the circuit there, and Tsunoda, he makes the move work, but he doesn't get the best run off the corner. We're going to start using the battery now as we head down in towards the final corner of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Will Lando Norris get the run on Yuki? Can I try and find anything at the final corner to make a move work on the pair of them? Tsunoda, oh, he's very, very aggressive there. There's contact. Mick Schumacher tries to look up the inside. We get way too much wheel spin. Tsunoda will hang on, but what an end here in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
And that brings the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix to a close as we reflect on the team's impressive performance today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Today, I think I'll give it to the Haas driver.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and our podium exactly the same as it was just 1 week ago in Bahrain there. Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz there, with Charles Leclerc picking up, yeah, the full 26 points once more there. Sergio Perez and George Russell both get their first points of the year in 4th and 5th place. They're at Hamilton, Ocon, Bottas, Alonso, and yeah, Yuki Tsunoda there. Look at that, 4 cars separated by 0.8 of a second, but not enough points to go around when all is said and done there. But very, very happy with how the weekend went in the end there. I mean, to finish 0.6 away from the points is heartbreaking, but also, you know, a strong sign after struggling in Bahrain to open up the year there. Drogovic got lapped in the end, so not too sure what happened to our teammate. And then, yeah, Ricciardo, the only man not to make it through to the checkered flag there. Does mean championship-wise, a lot of movement there. Charles Leclerc, yeah, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez at the top. Hamilton still 4th there as Perez leapfrogs his way up into 5th place. They're tied with Alonso, Bottas and Esteban Ocon, all in joint 5th place there. George Russell up to 9th ahead of Tsunoda and Lando Norris there, with Mick Schumacher still with 1 point on the board. We are down, well, sorry, we're up to even P15 there, but still a lot of cars yet to score after the opening 2 races of the year. Constructors-wise, though, Mercedes jump Alpine in the battle for P3 there. We jump Williams, though, in the battle for 10th. But yeah, I definitely think we can get points on the board over the next few race weekends there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. Like I mentioned, trying to hit 100k before the end of the year. But we will return tomorrow, ready for round 3 of the year. We head to the all-new Albert Park. I'm very, very excited for that race. Make sure you join us there. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members. So a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below. And yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.